Are the rumors about Dallas really true? Do cattle roam the streets of downtown? Or is it only angry, gun-slinging California haters wandering the streets of Dallas? Well, today we're going to explore that. We're going to sort the truths from the half-truths to the all-out lies and hopefully help you make up your mind once and for all about whether Dallas is the right place for you. Well, hello, this is Wendy Pennell, and today I'm busting out 5 of the biggest lies about living in Dallas. Hey, I heard that, and no, before you ask, Tex-Mex and barbecue are not the only kinds of foods down here, and the bigger the hair, the closer to God phase passed with the 90s. All right, now that we've got that settled, let's talk about something you may actually encounter with living in Dallas. Let's talk about lie number 1, don't California my Texas. If you were to Google the phrase, don't California my Texas, you're gonna run into a song, bunch of t-shirts, and some not too nice explanations of what exactly that means. A quick glance at Quora revealed definitions like, when you escape from a high-tax, overly regulatory state, don't vote for the same politicians who ruined the state you came from. All right then. Now the Houston press has their own spin on it. Jeff Rauner says, don't California my Texas is so stupid. He equates the expression directly to politics. It's something you hear anytime a story about Texas becoming blue shows up, he says. He goes on to describe the expression as a scream that Texas should not become California by moving left. Well, the idea of the gun-toting conservative definitely has a lot of truth to it. You have concealed carry, open carry, I mean, it's all good. But while many Texas residents may indeed be carrying, and they probably are, the rumor that these Texans are all angry about newcomers is not necessarily true. Yes, Texans are fiercely protective over their freedoms, it's true. And according to Texas Monthly, Lone Star State leaders have worried about transplants importing West Coast values and politics here. It's more the way of life that Texans have come to be proud of, and one that they've worked very hard to keep. So while your average Texan may get a bit testy if you start trying to change their freedoms, they're not going to be fazed by Californian or New Yorker neighbors. Jeff Rauner points out that just as Texas has a lot of Democrats, California has a lot of Republicans. He goes on to point out that you'd think the one who would want to come to a conservative state would be the ones who lean that way. And honestly, I mean, your native Texan neighbors are probably going to be congratulating you on your recent move. After all, you finally made it to the promised land. Texans know they've got a good thing going and that many people are hoping to get a piece of it. In the end, don't California my Texas is about Texans resisting a mindset. It's not about the actual people. Moving on to lie number 2, it's really easy to find a job here. Well, you've probably heard that there are job opportunities everywhere in Dallas. In fact, it might be easy to think if you have a pulse, you'll get a job, but it doesn't necessarily work that way. Now, when it comes to sectors like fast food and retail and, like entertainment, like Six Flags, Hurricane Harbor, yeah, there are gonna be a lot of positions there, right? So if you're good with, $10 an hour, the jobs are plentiful. In fact, the Texas Labor Market Review showed retail salespersons and maintenance and repair workers as 2 of their top 10 occupations. That being said, for higher paying positions, you need to know the competition for employment in Dallas can be on the fierce side. Plus, a lot of the positions are highly specialized. In fact, looking back at the Labor Market Review, you can see several highly specialized occupations, such as software developer, and various computer occupations. Also in the top 10 are numerous managerial roles. Another thing to consider is that many companies relocate their employees when they relocate to Dallas. Remember, 300 people a day are moving to Dallas, and many of those are being relocated with work. Like many of you have reached out to us already this year regarding your move. And typically what we see is either your company is transferring you here or you're requesting to be transferred here. So ultimately, yes, there are a lot of jobs in Dallas, but you do need to prioritize your education and you need to bring your A game if you're hoping to score one. All right, speaking of education, that leads me to lie number 3, all schools are terrible in Dallas. Let's take a moment for a reality check here, because in a metroplex as big as this one, there are bound to be lots of different ratings. But the Texas Education Agency released their findings in late 2022, and there were plenty of A and B rated schools, both in Dallas as well as like the entire Metroplex. In Dallas County alone, you see a balanced representation of some A's, mostly B's, and just a few C's. In fact, if you were to broaden those results, to like the whole DFW area, you'd find 19 A rated schools, 40 B rated schools, and only 4 C rated schools. It's really not too shabby. In fact, when you reach out to us, always let us know schools are important to you, and we can prioritize that as we set up a home search. Now, speaking of reaching out to us, check out our Let's Find Home questionnaire in the description section, and we'll get started. Now, when it comes to higher education, Dallas County takes that very seriously and invests heavily. Dallas County Community College boasts 7 campuses across the county, never mind the 11 campuses in Collin County and 6 campuses in Tarrant County. Now, on top of that, dual credit classes for high school students are free, and many high schools have programs that work with the local community colleges. Dallas has made sure that education is accessible for all of its residents with steeply discounted tuition as well. So the whole all schools in Dallas are terrible lie, completely debunked. Moving on to lie number 4, Dallas is just one big suburb. Well, maybe you've heard this one overtly, or maybe you didn't realize that that's kind of basically how you pictured it. Either way, this is a huge lie. In fact, Wallet Hub named Dallas the 4th most diverse city in America. Yeah, so like literally just below New York City itself. So here in Dallas, it's not an exaggeration to say we truly have something for everyone, okay? There's plenty of retirement communities, definitely tons of family suburbs. You'll find, areas like Addison and Las Colinas that really tend to be more like the singles scene. You'll find everything from downtown lofts to acreage that's out in the middle of nowhere. Also, when it comes to restaurants and retail, okay, many suburbs represent every ethnicity you can imagine. So if that's important to you, like a variety of different restaurants, you'll find it in particular in communities, for example, like Carrollton and Arlington, okay? Fantastic choices there. So you want neighborhoods with acreage? Well, you're gonna look in suburbs like Midlothian and Waxahachie. You want suburbs with very small yards but lots of open green space? Look at suburbs like Allen and Frisco. So you say you want suburbs with private lakes and resort-style amenities. Look at neighborhoods like the Viridian in Arlington or South Point in Mansfield. Or maybe you want neighborhoods adjacent to public transportation. Look in suburbs like Irving and Carrollton. You want only new construction. Look in suburbs like Midlothian, Mansfield, Rowlett, Saxe. You see, even though Dallas does have a lot of suburbs surrounding it, each suburb is very different and very unique. In fact, if you don't believe me, subscribe to my channel and check out my vlog tours playlist. We have like over 70 vlog tours on there. Hey, you have my permission to pop some popcorn and go binge watch. Okay, but moving on to lie number 5, the housing prices in Dallas are too high. Well, when it comes to Texas, I checked out the regional price parities with the Bureau of Economic Analysis, and you're gonna find Texas is just below the national average. There are 18 states that have more expensive housing and 31 that have less expensive housing. So while we may be, right up next to like New York City and Los Angeles when it comes to diversity, we're nowhere near there in terms of housing costs. Now, you may hear one thing or the other, right? Some will say to you, you should move to Dallas because of the low cost of living. And another person may say to you, oh, don't move to Dallas because of the high cost of living. Well, it all depends on where you're coming from and what you're comparing it to, right? So if you're coming from one of those lesser expensive 31 states, Dallas may very well be quite pricey compared to what you're used to. But don't forget about the suburbs, all right? Lucky for you, even though many areas in the Metroplex are pretty expensive, not all of them are. In fact, the South Dallas and Ellis County areas tend to be far more affordable than North Dallas and Collin County. South Dallas also has lower grocery prices and just in general a lower cost of living. I did an entire video comparing North Dallas and South Dallas, and if you're interested, you can find it right here. In the meantime, Wendy out.